other map I have. It shows a little closer inland. Let's see if I can get her focused here. Pointing at. Alright, here's Pine Island. And I'm shooting up this way. And can I get it focused here? And as I shoot up this way, see, I gotta kind of go out this way. I'm gonna come across these islands up here. And the one I'm looking for is this, because all these islands here all seem to blend in because I'm shooting, you know, on an angle, so all of them seem to blend into each other. But the angle from Pine Island out, there's 3 islands on this angle right here that I'm looking at, that, you know, one of them, like I say, is this Sheephead Key, and then those 2 right there, that Crawl Key and Saddle Key, are the other 2 islands that I'm filming that are, you know, well behind that little tiny island. But that island right there looks big because it's much closer than those 2 islands, which are definitely much bigger. But then I continue to look up this way, and I have to flip the map over and upside down. Yep. And upside down to show the rest of these islands that are farther back here. I think that one is the tail end of one of the ones that I was talking about. But then you have all these islands here that stick out way past this, the ones that I've been talking about filming. And of course, as I go further and further up here, and I mean, this is like 27 miles from Pine Island all the way up to this point here. There's the Crystal River Power Plant. So again, I'm kind of having to look across all of this terrain, right? Flat, level terrain, to see those towers sticking up. And like I say, all maps are made flat maps, but you know, like I say, as you're backing up, see how it looks like it's just vanishing? That's just the way it works. And actually, I wish I didn't have the little humps and bumps on this. Wish I had it pulled out straight and flat and not any ripples in it. But you know, look, folks, I'm like I say, I'm looking like this at this Crystal River Power Plant, and I'm catching most of it except for what all of this land blocks out from me hitting to this point. And again, that's 27 miles, and I don't know if okay, I recently filmed this, and what I'm looking for is the Sheephead Key, the Saddle Key, and Crawl Key Island. As I zoom out here, you can obviously see there's portions missing. The islands appear to be floating above the water, and they're very much hardly visible. You can I mean, the visibility is crap. And again, I am on top of this observation deck at Pine Island. Plus 2, this is a very extreme and may I say it again, very extreme low tide. So it makes my camera very high. I figured I'm at 5 feet with the camera height. Also, the water is down at least 5 feet, and it's also out a couple of feet. So I'm figuring I have to be at least 12 feet, 15 feet above the water. You can see very easily that the tide is way out in comparison to some of my other observations. And here's another thing is you cannot and maybe possibly see a little portion right there to the left of the screen of the Crystal River power plant. I go out there and I look and I say, where are they? You cannot see them, but you also see how that light has whited out the whole horizon. And also the horizon has uh, dew in it. You can tell it's a misty day or a cloudy, foggy-ish day. But this is in the afternoon, so I look at it as high humidity. And then we'll go to another video that I show. I'm just going to let this go across the screen one more time so you can see how this land is just mirroring, and not only mirroring, but I'm assuming too that there is some magnification going on there also, or compression. These are always the issues with doing these observations of long distant objects. Okay, that right there, what I just passed, is a small island, and you can see how it kind of blends into the background. And of course, you can see the birds flying out of in and out of the mirroring area, the mirroring zone, the mirage zone. Um, that's what I like to call it. And it seems to fit very well with my description and other people's description as well. So I'm going to let this stop right about, well, let's go on a little further. And before I move off, there's parts of these islands that are very, I mean, you can't see hardly any of those islands. Okay. I also wanted you to see that I was on top of this deck. Okay, here's some cell phone footage that I took, um, with my camera at a different location, lower to the water. Still on a low tide, but not as low as what it was on the day that I was on top of that observation deck. And obviously, you can see here, um, I'm getting land beyond, and I'll show you that little red marker right there. Um, that is 7 miles to that channel marker that was in on the camera, but you'll get to see the footage of that here shortly. And the closest island to me is Sheephead Island. Should be Sleephead Island. But Sheephead Island is approximately 4.75 miles away from my location. And that Sheephead Island is the middle island. Okay, you see there's 3 islands there, and then you see the land sticking out on the right hand side. But this right here is Sheephead Island. That island is Crawl Key Island, and the other island to the far right is Crawl Island, which is 6 miles. So we got, actually I was wrong. The island all the way to the left is Crawl Key Island, which is 6.5 miles. Saddle Key is 5.5, and then the Sheephead Island is 4.75. Now I just missed my channel marker that I was going to show you. and that channel marker is over 7 miles. I might show you it again. Um, and I do these observations more for my own personal study, so I don't show everything. If I did, nobody would watch my channel because I do such long observational videos to take it all in, also to go back and research. But you can see these channel markers sticking up out there, and also these farther islands, like in my map that I was showing at the beginning of the video, that these islands all blend into each other and make it look like one big long landmass. But it's not. They're just little islands all poking up here and there. Again, these are all the way across our shoreline. We call it the flats. We call it flats fishing. Okay, when we go out there and fishing, we're fishing in the flats. Why? Because even on a high tide, a lot of times you're only fishing in about 4 feet of water. On extreme lows, you're lucky if you even got any water out there to fish in. But the whole purpose of this is just showing how visibility. There's another channel marker right there, and again, um, Chassahowiska is over 7 miles away, but their channel markers come out as they come out of the bay or the river itself. They do veer more back toward me than they do away from me. So these right here are, though, I checked it on my navigation map, are approximately 7 miles away. Um, some could be further, some could be less. But what you're seeing in the far background is land that is usually obscured by all of these different effects that we get with the mirroring. There's the red one. Now that red one I seen on my map right next to this island, or actually that's farther past this island, is at 7 miles. And then you do see this land that is distorted. Of course it's distorted. It's going through a lot of humidity, um, and these weather conditions cause all kinds of different effects. Um, Now I did do more footage um, of these islands from different perspective heights. The higher I went up, the clearer it became. But I don't think that I went up on top of the observation deck this day, only because I didn't deem it necessary, really. Um, Again, here you're seeing these channel markers. Um, and, somebody wants to claim that these things are being refracted above the curvature of Earth. I don't think that they're being refracted up. I think what it is they're being obscured due to many effects that occur out over the water. I mean, they want to say that this is an anomaly, but obviously you can see that my visibility is what allows me to see much farther than what they claim we should on a globe. Plain and simple. All right, I do have more stuff that I want to do with the Crystal River Power Plant from different perspectives, mainly from the ones that I did um, a few months back at the beginning of the year. I think it was in January, where I had really, really clear visibility and I could see the Crystal River Power Plant at 27 miles away with no issues. Very clear night. Actually, in the evening times is usually your best time for filming because you don't have all that light reflection. Again, you can see all these islands, how far out they go. And on my map, you see that these islands are way farther up the coastline than what I should be able to see. Anything past the 7 miles is phenomenal. And again, this is all being obscured through all these different weather conditions, evaporation rate, the humidity, angle of light. I could go through a whole list. Everything comes down to your angular resolution, but visibility is going to dictate your angular resolution too. The better visibility I got, the better angular resolution I will get. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you get something out of this, and we'll continue on to try to show the Crystal River Power Plant and see what people think about that.